I'm Tony Pulis.
And I'm Mick McCarthy, and welcome to The Managers. At West Ham, though, quite the dressing room. Was this as good as United's class of 92?
Yeah.
Potentially, you said.
Oh, there wouldn't be
Unless you
nothing in
keep
it,
them all
Mick.
together, you never find out.
You wouldn't
do
be
you?
much in it, would there?
Resurrect the career of Paolo Di Canio.
Paolo.
Because he was some player, wasn't he?
He was volatile, Mick. He now picks the Gatorade up, and I'm hiding. I jumped under the table. I had a nice suit on.
You seem to be the nation's choice for England manager.
He looked nailed on. But suddenly I've got two jobs. Am I going to start at Tottenham or go and manage England? 3 months later, I ain't got any job.
Well, this week, Mick, the person opposite me needs no introduction to myself. He signed me as a player. He gave me my first coaching job and my first manager's job. And he beats me every other week at golf. And no introduction at all, Harry Redknapp.
Yeah.
Welcome, Harry.
Thanks, Mick. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks for coming in.
Mick, the day I signed him, sorry, I don't want to. The day I signed him, I drove all the way to Newport, right? So he played against us early in the season and kicked lumps out of my midfield players. I thought I could do with someone like him, you know. And so I drive all the way to Newport. I thought, I better go and watch him again. And, you know, I'll get there. It's rained all the way, horrible conditions. I walk into a little hut there where the managers and coaches go and have a cup of tea. I'm sitting there 15 minutes to kick off. He walks in. I've gone all that way to watch him. So I end up tapping him up instead and signing him anyway. So
Sounds like scouts that come to watch me, Harry, kicking people lumps off him. Not that he was a good footballer or he's a tricky, skillful one. Come on then, Harry. I had a much better introduction. It was very nice,
Good.
very complimentary than his was. But anyway, you keep beating him at golf, mate. You started 9-year career at Bournemouth. 83. No, we're older than most, aren't we? From 83 to 92. You managed a young Welsh defender.
Yeah,
Pulis.
yeah.
How was he as a player then? Go on, tell us that. I mean, you told me how you signed him. Was he any good?
Well, it was a great year we had.
Look, he used to win it and give it to somebody who could play. He could tackle. He was evil, I swear. How he got away with that, 2-footed. He had this tackle where he used to pull his legs in, and it was horrendous, really. But he did a great job for me. Him and Sean O'Driscoll in midfield. Sean would run all over the pitch, wouldn't he, Tony?
Yeah.
That was the first time in their history Bournemouth had been out of Division 3 or 4. 100 years of their history and never been out of the bottom two divisions. And we went on and we won the league that year, didn't we?
We actually beat Middlesbrough. Bruce Rioch was manager, where they had Mowbray and Pallister.
Yeah.
They had a really, really
Bernie
good
Slaven.
Yeah, they're a really good team. We got 97 points, and I think we beat them by a point or two each. But it was, Harry will tell you, it was a fantastic year. Fantastic year. A lot of very, very so-called average players got together, and we just moulded together. Didn't we?
Yeah, good lads. Yeah, hard work. A few proper lads there, wasn't there? Had to be on my guard, you know. they liked the night out, Mick, you know, and oh my God, you know.
We all liked a night out.
I know, back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day,
very
it was
different.
I was at Barnsley. They had a Thursday night club.
Really?
Which was
Thursday
I never
night.
joined it. I was one of the younger ones at the time. Yeah, they'd all go out for 4 or 5 pints on a Thursday night.
Some characters there.
They're only having a 5-a-side Friday morning, so it didn't really matter.
No, characters.
Sadly did,
yeah.
but they're real characters.
Yeah.
So he was a tough tackling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's funny how
yeah.
you said though about him. So that's why me and him probably get on, because Alan Clark told me that the first time he met me. I want you to get the ball off the opposition, and give it to somebody who can play. That was his advice to me.
So you wouldn't have fancied today, Mick, when the goalkeeper rolls it out to the centre half, who gives it to the other centre half.
He'd be seeing my back, Harry.
Who gives it to the full-back and then rolls one and they lose it and it's in the back of the net. I mean, I watch football every Sunday, all the goals from Saturday, all the lower divisions. I see goal after goal after goal being given away. I think, what are they doing, you know?
We're all from a different era. We talk about philosophies now, Harry. What was yours? Get as many good players as you can and win games.
Absolutely.
Which is a good philosophy.
Absolutely, Nick.
But in terms of playing, you know.
Yeah, no, I was brought up at West Ham, where they still talk now at West Ham about the academy and all that. The academy was way, you know, they had to play a certain style, but West Ham did play a certain style under Ron Green with it, and we played we had good players. They had, before me, people like Johnny Byrne, the centre forward, who was he was incredible budgie. And Bobby Moore and Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters, all these people that played there. So that's why they called West Ham the Academy of Football. They had good players who could really play, and they passed the ball. You've got to play to what you've got, haven't you?
Yeah.
But in the main, I did tend to sign, apart from Tony, I did tend to sign players with real good ability who could play. And
I hope John Williams is listening.
Big Willow. Willow was all right, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Big Willow, yeah. But no, I liked as much as I could to play, and I was fortunate. I ended up at West Ham with people like Di Canio, who's a genius, and then at Tottenham, I had great players, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, Rafa van der Vaart. You ain't got to be that clever to manage them, have you?
No, but that's way down the line, isn't it? Like when you first started, it's when you start your philosophy, I guess, and how you want to be.
Yeah, at Bournemouth, I tried to. I played with two wingers, Tony, in that year. I had two little tiny wingers who could dribble, go past people.
Good Connor,
fantastic
Richard
footballers.
Cook.
Yeah, two tiny little, and that's how we played. And I played with two up front, home and away, didn't we?
Yeah.
Always played with two, and that's how we played. We had a go, and went out to try to win games as much as possible.
Yeah. So when you left Bournemouth, was he the natural successor?
Yeah, I brought Tony, and Tony came and worked with me, and always knew he was going to go into management. And he was very professional in everything he did. Really good coach, and the old lads looked up to him the way he trained. He gave everything. He made the best of his ability for sure.
Limited
as a player.
ability,
he made the best of it.
Isn't it interesting though when you're a manager at a club, you can generally see the ones who you'd think they become a good manager.
Yeah.
And we always just say a manager now, not a coach, but a good manager. And it's, when you see somebody and you think, yeah, absolutely. And it turns out that he did become a good manager.
Yeah.
H, just going back to West Ham, what was the youth policy like? And what was when you went back to West Ham from Bournemouth, what was your identity? What did you think you had to put in place in West Ham for it to be successful?
Well, as a player, I grew up, Ron Greenwood was a manager, and he was so into the youth team. And it's a silly... people wouldn't believe it. The end of the season, last game, we played in the FA Youth Cup. I went to West Ham. We won the FA Youth Cup my first year. I was a 15-year-old. And we went to Wolves to play in the FA Youth Cup semi-final. And Ron Greenwood came with the first team that Saturday and didn't go with came with the youth team and didn't go with the first team. First team were at home, and he travelled to watch the kids. He knew that was the future of the club, and 10 of them kids end up playing in the first team at some stage, and he was at every youth game. He would be there. Every Saturday he'd be at Chablis watching the kids before he went to the first team game. And that was it. It was a conveyor belt. Everybody came through the youth policy at West Ham. We didn't buy any players. Bobby came through. Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters, Trevor Brooking, Billy Bonds was bought from Charlton, but he was a young player. But Frank Lampard, everybody came through the youth team. They produced, it was a conveyor belt of homegrown players. And so when I went back there as manager, that was the first thing I wanted to try to do, to try to get kids coming out of the youth team and start producing players again. And we were lucky, we struck lucky, but I employed a boy. We played Charlton under 13s at Chablis. I'd only been there, in charge a little while, and they beat us about 5-1. And I said, well, how can Charlton have better kids than West Ham? They said, well, that's the fellow who works from Jimmy Hampson. He gets the kids here, So I go over to him. I said, listen, would you fancy coming to West Ham? He pulled his sleeve up. He had hammers tattooed on his arm. He was a West Ham fanatic, right? He's son from Canning Town area up the road. So sure enough, we ended up nicking him, and he came, and off we went. We end up producing all them kids. 6 of them went on and become
top
big
players.
stars.
It's all about recruitment, isn't it?
Yeah,
to be honest, all about
recruitment. Rio came, and Frank came. And
you left Bournemouth, though, didn't you, to become an assistant at West Ham? Was that?
No, I'd had 10 years there, nearly 9.5 years, and the club changed hands. I'd come back from Italy. I'd been to Italy for the World Cup. I'd been watching Ireland play Italy in Rome that night. Yeah. Got in the car with Brian Tyler, who was my big pal, wasn't he, and chief executive.
Chief executive.
And we had an accident on the way back to the hotel. 3 young kids hit us head on, and they all got killed. They was only 17, 18. Brian lost his life. And it wasn't the same for me. I went back to Bournemouth, and it was different. Norman Hayward bought the club, and And, Norman was all right. It was good as gold. But it just all changed for me. So I just had enough,
Sorry to bring that up.
No.
We got that news when we got on the bus. We'd just played Italy and we got that news when it happened. So, well.
And, I'd stopped that. It was amazing. I'd stopped that night. You always look back. There was some Irish fans outside and they was having a pizza and we were dashing back and they said, "Come on, Harry, we've got to miss the..." And I'm talking to these Irish fellas for 10 back, Jerry Payton, because Jerry was with India squad. Yeah. And I've always, if I hadn't have stopped and spoke to them, it wouldn't have happened. It's fate, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it is. West Ham, though, quite the dressing room. See, the manager at West Ham, try and control Julian Dix, John Moncur, Ian Bishop, Don Hutchinson.
Yeah, characters.
Martin Allen. Alvin Martin, Tony Cottee.
Yeah, it was a tough gig. I mean, they liked again, they lads who liked a night out for sure, but we had good players and probably my biggest, first big, we sold Dick. I went to watch Liverpool play because Jamie was at Liverpool and I bashed into Graham Souness. Graham's a manager. And Graham said, we'd gone 5 games. We hadn't won a game start of the season. And Graham said, "You're struggling a bit, Harry." I said, "Yeah, we can't win a game at the moment. We're playing all right, but I said, I'm going to have to sell my best player." He said, "Who's your best player?" I said, "Julian Dix, the left back." He said, "Not the little fat geezer." I went, I said, "He's a good player." And he was a good player, but he had a left foot like a magic wand. He was hard as nails. I said, "Graham, he's a fantastic player." I said, "You'd love him." I said, "He's hard." I said, "He'd kick lumps out of you in training. He'd boot, he don't care who he kicks, Really? He said, I'm looking for a left back." He said, "Well, you playing tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah, we're playing tomorrow." He said, I'll come to the game. And he came, we played at Coventry. 10 minutes, we're winning, we're 1-0 up. Just for half time, the little boy Flynn had a little winger, Flinny. Yeah. He was a bit of an handful. Yeah. And he's tugging Dixie's arm. Dixie smacked him with the elbow, laid him out cold. No one saw it. The referee hadn't seen it, and he's got blood all over his face. Somebody had done it, Anyway, he ended up giving him a yellow. Graham comes back there. He said, "I loved it." He said, "When he gave the geezer the elbow," he said, "Fuck, we need a bit of that at Liverpool, He said, "Where are you next week?" Same thing again. We were playing Swindon at home. He came to the game. Monday he rung up. He said, "I'll take him." He said, I said, "Well, give me Mike Marsh, David Burrows, and 200 grand because we need a centre forward." And I took Lee Chapman. Oh, yeah. So we ended up with 3 players. And it was a big move. It made, and suddenly we had 3 good players in who done a job for me, and it changed things around. Really, our first game was Blackburn away. The fans were coming ready to have the needle because they loved Dixie. We went to Blackburn and won with that team. We went to Blackburn the year after they won the league and won 2-0. And so then we came back on the Wednesday night, won again. Dixie was forgotten almost, and it was
up and running.
Off we go.
That's the art of management, or was. I don't know sure it is now with the director of football or CEO, somebody else is doing it. You're actually going to watch games. Yeah. You speak to the other manager. Yeah. You negotiate a deal. It's never going to be you that's going to be doing the deal. It's the club, we know that, and the money. But you set that up. Of course, without any help from anybody else, because you just knew the players. That's right. Watched the players. Yeah. And same with Graham. He wanted one. So, but that is the art of management, not the, where we're going to do and what we're going to do, which seems to have gone out of the game a little bit. Absolutely. And Dixie went there and had a year or so. It didn't work out for him, and I took him back on a free. And he came back and was fantastic. He came and had a couple of years out of him where he was amazing.
One thing I'll say about H now while we're talking, I've gone from player to player coach, and then I'd go off and watch games. We'd go up to Millwall on a Monday, 2:00 kickoff, drive over there, and then we'd drive back over to watch a reserve game at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And Harry used to have a Rothman's book in his car. And because I was such a boring so-and-so, he used to say, pick a page and pick a player. And if I can't get the player, you get £1. And we'd go up there, and he knew every player. And I think it was the case of everybody then, H, wasn't it? Yeah. Everybody knew everybody. It was part of our job. Yeah. It wasn't like computers and this, that, and the other. But Harry he'd have that Rothmans. He'd go, "Come on, let's get going." And I'd pick players from the 4th division, the 3rd division, 2nd division. And they won very many occasions where he'd get it wrong.
But you went and watched games in them days, Mick, didn't you? You went out and watched football. You was there, You even the big match on Sunday, you'd had the the big match on Brian Moore, and the pan into the stand, and there'd be managers sitting there watching the foot. It don't happen anymore, does it?
Get into the lounge at half-time. Harry just mentioned, what do you think? Who's the best player in this team? And
That's
the
right.
Chief Scouts can't wait to tell you.
No.
Yeah.
They just all chat around.
Very different.
But it was great, that, talking to them all.
That was how it was.
Get good information.
Midweek, you go and watch different games, and there'd be people
Friday
there.
night, H.
Talk to be. Yeah, we've got a Tranmere Friday night. Yeah, we was up north. We'd always go and watch the Friday night game at Tranmere from travel to Manchester, anywhere.
Yeah, they were the one and only, weren't they? Friday night, Tranmere for a long time.
Tough place to go, Mick, wasn't it? Oh, my God.
Absolutely, it was. But then, so we're talking about signing players, look after players. You're at West Ham, and you've got an incredible crop of talent comes through. Rio Ferdinand, Frank Lampard Jr., Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, and some
Glenn
squad on it.
Johnson.
Who?
Glenn Johnson.
Sorry, I've left one out as well.
Glenn was a great right back.
Just saying, what could you have done with all of them?
Yeah.
Was this as good as United's class of 92?
Yeah.
Potentially, you said.
Oh, it wouldn't be
Unless you
nothing in
keep
it,
them all
Mick.
together, you never find out.
You wouldn't
do
be
you?
much in it, would there?
No.
Rio, look at what a career.
Yeah.
Frank went on to be 107 caps, whatever, for England, and lit Chelsea's all-time leading goal scorer. Defoe, Michael Carrick. What a footballer he was.
Tell him about Cole when you first seen
Joe
Cole.
was we signed Joe at 11. Joe was a genius, and he was the best schoolboy player I'd ever seen. And we bought, he came over. I never forget, we were playing Norwich at the training ground, ankle deep mud, raining, and I'm going out, finished training in the morning with the first team. I'm going to watch the kids' game in the afternoon. And we stood there, and there was me and Alan Seeley, who's not with us, Peter Brave, a little group of us. Peter's not here. There was all old West Ham players, and we'd come watch the. After 10 minutes, we'd gone, who's this kid? It was like ridiculous, the things he was doing. He was playing 2 years out of his age group that day. And but then Alex Ferguson would send Joe a shirt. Joe, this is your shirt 10 when you cold. He took him on the coach to the cup final. Even after we'd signed him on schoolboy forms, he was still like trying to nick him. But his dad, George, was a lovely guy. He was never kicked the ball in his life, George. He said, I'd never play football. And he was a minicab driver at Nisleton. A rough diamond, George, good man. And he said, he's going up to Old Trafford for a week, Harry, and he's going to Liverpool for a week. Have a look. But it's like, I could have said, well, he signed for George. He's not allowed to, mate. And he'd have gone, oh, is that right? Oh, right, forget it. He's going, So, yeah, no problem, George. Let him go. We want him here. And he always came back, Joe he was fantastic talent.
Some difference, though, then, for a kid going up to Manchester or Liverpool as opposed to staying at home. The facilities that they have now for kids that they get in and where they put them and what they get. Joe wouldn't have been getting that. It'd have been put in probably with digs. He'd have gone somewhere else instead of staying with his parents.
Absolutely.
And actually benefiting from being with his parents.
I remember my own son going to Liverpool at 17, just 17, and went up there with Kenny. And I went to his digs. I went up Tuesday night, reserve game, playing Wolves. And went back to his digs after. Oh my God,
I remember playing at Swansea, and you driving off, taking a car to Swansea, and then driving straight up after the Swansea game on the Friday night. I think we played to watch Jane play in the first team, and talking about being him away from home, how much you missed him, how much Sandra missed him, how much the family had missed him. It's a big move, Mick, isn't it?
Oh gosh!
And the kids would. As you say, the facilities have been different, Mick. You got thrown into digs, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
He was in digs there, and every night he said we had smash, like it's powdered mashed potato, and he hated it. And every night it was smash. I suppose the old landlady and landlord, cheap as they could get out of it, the more they earned.
Weren't the landladies great though?
Oh,
because you'd meet them at some stages, and they loved having the kids.
They did.
Most of them did.
Yeah.
There were some you might not want to put it, but most of them did.
Yeah.
Di Canio, resurrect the career of Paolo Di Canio.
Paolo.
Wow, that was because he was some player, wasn't he?
Yeah, genius. I took a big gamble with him, Mick, really. I remember the headlines in one of the Sunday papers, Redknapp walks tightrope with no safety net under him signing Di Canio. He'll get Redknapp the sack. Why are you signing? Because he was hated because he'd pushed a referee over, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And it was but he came and he was he would be, you talk to West Ham fans, he'd be in the best ever West Ham team,
Strong character, H?
trained, fit, didn't drink, ate the right food, come in every day, Tony. Just his body was like, Sunday morning he'd come in, do 2.5, 2 hours, 3 hours with his own fitness coach at the training ground. He had a guy from Milan who'd come and work with him. He just looked after himself so well. And then you had Razor Ruddock, and he'd come to see me. Boss, we are supposed to be stretching. Razor Ruddock, last night I drank 12 pints, had 3 kebabs. I can't tell you what else he used to say he was doing.
He was stretching his limit. He only drinks 10.
You have to speak with him, boss. You have to sort him out. We are supposed to, don't worry, Paolo, I'll speak to him. I never did sort him out.
I was just thinking about going back to Paolo Di Canio's, it was a send-off for him, wasn't he?
Yeah,
for Wednesday.
I know, but do you think the referee might get done for simulation now? I think he did fall along.
It's
VAR would be on
it?
that straight away.
It was unreal, wasn't it? Unbelievable, wasn't it? But no, Paolo was special. He was an amazing player, But he was volatile, Mick. I mean, volatile. We played at Birmingham. He come in at half time. They scored right on half. They get a free kick. Shaka Islop comes in. Paolo, you're supposed to have lined the wall up. You blame me. Fuck. What? He now picks the Gatorade up in the room, right? Big Gatorades we used to have. You couldn't lift it. He's lifted it. He's walking. His legs are going. And I'm hiding. I jumped under the table. I had a nice suit on. I thought, he's going to get. Suddenly, everyone's ducking. It went. All over Shaka's suit. I don't play. Boss takes his boot. Fuck you. Let me go. He's in the shower. Paolo, come on. We're going to go out. Come on. Well, he blamed me. No, he's not blaming Paolo. Come on. Anyway, we finally get him on the pitch. We won 3-1. He was, and then the game with Bradford City at home, where he sat on the floor. He had 3 penalties turned down. He comes walking over. We're losing 3-1 to Bradford, who are bottom of the league.
Yeah.
I think Jeweler, was it Jeweler? We had Chuck Paul in.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
And he comes over, sits on the floor in front of me. I don't play no more. I don't play. Paolo, get up. We're losing 3-1. We're losing 3-1. Paolo, get up, Paolo. Suddenly the crowd starts singing his name. Paolo, he jumps up. Ball comes, off he goes, scores a goal. Then we score again. Then we get a penalty. Frank's the penalty taker. Paolo wants the penalty. He puts it down, makes out the shit. The goalkeeper dives. He clips it. We win 5-4.
It does take some, doesn't it, managing? It must be incredibly difficult.
Every day he'd come in, he'd have a suit on, sunglasses, he'd be singing Valari. Next day he'd come in, he'd have the ump. His missus had sport the spaghetti or something. He'd boot my door. This shit club, I used to handpick his team in the 9-a-sides, put Stuart Pearce on his team, Stevie, anyone who might boot him, I'd put on his team because someone kicked him, it'd all go off.
Yeah.
Tell you what, that's why you're looking so rough for a 50-year-old, mate. Let me tell you. My God, look, that would drive you insane. Have you ever had anybody like that, Tom?
Yes. Not as bad as that, but yes.
But what a player. A genius. And I love him. I saw him last year, Mick. I got a message. He was doing something in Bournemouth, doing a chat, And the guy who organised said, would I come along and surprise him? And, I said, yeah, sure. I said, but I'm going to Cheltenham. It was Cheltenham Festival. And I said, I'm doing TalkSport in the morning at 7:00 with Alan Brazil and Ray Parler and them at Cheltenham. I said, I've got my horse running tomorrow. And so I don't want to be too late. So he said, well, if you get there at 8:00, come as soon as the show starts, almost come up. So I go up and just, boss, he's cuddling me. Fucking yeah, we're sitting there. As I leave, he gives me his tie. Boss, I give you this, my best tie, my silk tie. I wore it next day at Cheltenham. My horse won, shake him up, Harry. And I said it was Paolo's tie, brought me luck.
Yeah. Not that we're superstitious managers, have we, by any chance? So, after Paolo, you've got to talk about your director of football move at Portsmouth. So you've gone through all that, the management issue at West Ham and all those players, some bonkers, some brilliant, but lots of them actually brilliant, weren't they? Good footballers. Director of football.
Yeah.
One of the first, you must be 2000.
I didn't know what I was doing, Mick. I did absolutely. What I was a chauffeur to Milan.
Yeah.
Milan passed away, as you know, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But I was I used to pick him up and just drive to Sheffield, or we go together. It was a very difficult time. Fred Dinage, Milan, we'd be in the car. I'd be driving, He didn't even give me petrol money.
Yeah.
And, I'd be driving them about, and that was about it, really. We signed one player, I think, that year, Crouchy, and I went to him and I said, we wanted, Graham wants to, Ricks was a mouse, he wants to sign Peter Crouch. He said, do you think I'd pay £1 million for a basketball player? He said, he's the worst player I've ever seen, At the end of the year, I think we sold him for $5.5 million. He said, I always said he was good. Yeah, Milan, you did.
We've had a few of them, haven't we?
I know, yeah. So God bless him, anyway, just passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he good, though, to work with? I know
he was a character. We had
yeah.
a great, he couldn't, Tony knows.
He was different.
He was different.
Sorry, is there anybody that can explain different to me? Because I think I understand it.
Tony, and you'd have had a difficult time with him.
I was a young manager, Mick, with him. He was experienced. He'd done the job before, and he would put you under pressure.
All right.
And I'd get the because he was, but really he was just playing the game. I think with him, I could see Harry would wash that away and move on and move on in the direction he wanted to. I wanted to stand there and argue with him. And I think that became a problem and an issue. But he wasn't a bad man, H, was he?
No, I loved his company. He was
man.
Great company. We'd have a row, and I'd have a row with him, and then we play one Friday night. We play Man City away, and we had a massive argument. And he sent. I got a letter. He said, "You called me this particular word 16 times." I thought it was more than that, actually. And we went the next day, he wouldn't speak to me. We went to Man City and drew, and good point or whatever. On the Tuesday night, we came back and played Bolton, and we beat them 5 at home, Teddy Sheringham. And then I was his mate again then. It was all right. He forgot all about it,
Isn't it funny how results tend to soothe everything?
Turned it all
I just
around.
think if we spoke about that, though, if you were the younger one and you wanting to have an argument with him and snarl at him, the older you get doing the management, more experience, you learn how to manage upwards instead of just managing the players, you're managing above as well.
Yeah.
So not keeping the peace as such, you still want to have your say.
And I'll say this again, I think there's a lot of younger managers in the game now who could do with that experience because they're not managers no more, they're coaches.
Yes.
And the biggest problem is from that level through to the boardroom. And there's no one there helping. The younger manager to deal with those.
Absolutely.
But we used to go out and as Mick said earlier, we'd sign the players, wouldn't we? We'd see a player. If they were no good, it was your fault. You put your money with. But now, I listened to a programme a little while ago, and there was a guy on there who was the chief executive for Southampton. He's not there now. And he was talking about what they did and how they did it. There was 6 people on the committee, and the manager had 1/6 of a say in who they signed, and they said, did he have the final say? He said, no, he had 1/6 of a say, and it had to be a unanimous verdict, the decision as to whether we signed that player. So you've got 5 people, probably never, who were they? I don't know, what they actually knew about the game, and they all got putting their 10 penn'orth in, and the manager's got 1/6 of that, and when it don't go well, who gets the sack? The manager.
Six people to design a horse, mate. You get a camel. We know that, don't we? So.
I've got one story with a director of football who'd come in. It was the first time I'd had a director of football, and we sat down, and he wanted to go through what I wanted in each position. And he said, with your goalkeeper, do you want him to be able to play it with his right foot, play it with his left foot, be 2-footed?
No, just say the ball.
And I just went, no, I want him to be at least over 6'2", because I like goalkeepers that fill the goal, and someone that keeps the ball out of the net. If you can find that, brilliant.
That's all you want, yeah.
Basic common sense, H.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Catch it and kick it.
Catch it and kick it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like your centre halves, Mick, wasn't it? Edit and kick it. Hey, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Franz Beckenbauer? I can kick it up the pitch.
Yeah.
The Managers with Mick and Tony is powered by BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. And why is BOYLE Sports the home of the early payout? I hear you ask. Well, with BOYLE Sports, if your team goes 2 goals up, you win. Job done. You're getting paid out. Singles, ACCAs, bet builders, it's all covered. And this also means that we need to reconsider some crucial games across your careers, Mick and Tony. In fact, I'm going to take you back to the Britannia Stadium, Halloween 2009, the first time Mick McCarthy meets Tony Pulis in the Premier League. Stoke go 2-0 up. But Mick, your Wolves team come back, draw 2-2. And I'm sorry, Mick, I'm taking the point off you. Because of Boyle Sports' new laws, I'm afraid Stoke won that game. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you.
There you go. So get paid out as a winner if your team goes 2 goals ahead, even if they go on to win, lose or draw. 90 minutes only, applies to singles and multiples. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Back yourself with Boyle Sports, the home of the early payout. Head to boylesports.com or download the app to find out more.
See, a Portsmouth team, the sweep to the First Division title in 2003. A team containing Shaka Islop.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe, is it? That's
Eddie.
Eddie. Matt
Eddie
Taylor,
was my first signing.
Yakubu, Gary O'Neill,
Yeah.
Tim Sherwood.
Yeah, Tim, good lad.
Paul Merson. Now,
Merson.
there's got to be a story about Merce.
Well, there
But
was,
Steve
yeah.
Stone, you've got good players, haven't you?
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Late in the season they came. Merson came at the start of the year. I was saying that we were 33-1 to win the league. My mate rang me, Alan Timms, who's a big pal, big gambler. He said, Harry, I'm going to have a grand each one, your team, 33-1. I said, Alan, we're useless. I said, I'll be honest. I said, if we can finish anywhere near halfway, I'll be delighted. I said, don't waste your money, whatever you do. When we won the league, he never spoke to me again. No, he does. But apart from that, yeah, Merson was the key. I mean, I signed Merson and he came in and changed everything. And then obviously we had the story where we played. Interesting how you two would have handled it, actually. It would have been interesting because we played at Old Trafford on the Saturday, get beat in the FA Cup. We're in the Championship, top of the league, right? We've been unbelievable. Get to January, go to Old Trafford, get beat play ever so well, get beat, we're at the Cup. On the Monday, Merson comes to see me. Harry said, I've got a few problems. I said, what's the matter, Merce? He said, I've been drinking and all, been hitting the bottle. Really? I said, you're playing great, Merce, No, I've been drinking, he said, and my missus caught me with another bird. I said, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Merce. He said, can I go to Tony Adams' clinic in Hertfordshire? He said, they'll sort me problems out when I go there. He said, they've got psychologists and they work with you. He said, next week we play Millwall on Saturday. He said, after the Millwall game, we ain't got a game. We play Sheffield Wednesday, I think, the week after. They're still in the FA Cup, so we've got 2 weeks with no game. Can I go away for 10 days to Tony's clinic? I said, yeah, no problem, Merce. I said, look, we need you. We're top of the league. You're my captain, the best player. I need you. We need you. I said, so we play Millwall on the Saturday. We go to Millwall, win at Millwall. He gets a couple of goals. I said, he said, no, I want to go, Harry. I feel it would do me good. All right, Merce. Off he goes. Freezing cold, January, we're training. On the Thursday that week, I get a phone call from Michael Tabor, right, who owns Sandy Lanes Hotel. Michael lives in Barbados, got a house in Barbados. Harry said, hey, hello, Michael. He said, just been chatting to one of your boys. I said, one of my boys? He said, yeah, Paul Merson. I went, oh, no, what's the matter, Michael? I thought Michael must be in the clinic with him, right? He said, what do you mean, what's the matter? I said, well, he's in the clinic in Hertfordshire. He said, he ain't, he's on the beach in Barbados. I said, you sure it's Merson? He said, yeah, I know Merson. He said, I had a chat with him. He said, I didn't tell him I knew you. He said, but he looks well. I thought, I bet he does. Right, now I'm going to sack him, right? I thought, what a liberty he's took. I'm going to sack him. Next time I'm going to sack him. We're top of the league. I'll be honest, I thought, the only way we can get up is with Merson. If I sack him, he's the best player in the league. Every week he's scoring. The players loved him. I loved him as well,
Yeah.
Anyway, Wednesday comes, he comes back. I decided to just leave it, get to the end of the season, see if we can get promoted. At the end of the year, I'll let him go, whatever. He's got the best suntan I've ever seen. It's January. He's supposed to be at Tony Adams' clinic, right? It probably done him more good going to Barbados than going to the clinic. And we ended up winning the league and I let him go at the end of the year and he went to Walsall and as player manager.
Yeah. Harry, I'm full of admiration for you to be able to bite your lip.
Yeah,
and
you'd have smashed him, wouldn't you?
Well, no, I wouldn't. Not if he's the best player, and you understood that. I mean, all those thoughts that went through your mind, what you wanted to do, or should do, and you realised above all, it was the best thing to do.
It was the only chance we had of going up because he was like He was
Top
just
player,
top
actually.
player. He
Fabulous, yeah.
everything went through him, and the players loved him. They all just idolised Merson, you know.
I think he found it a bit of a chore as a manager, didn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I spoke to him. I was at Wolves. I remember talking to him. I can't remember. He phoned me about a player or something, and he was having a tough old time there at Wolves. So,
dear. He was great for me, though. I loved him, yeah.
Oh, he's great. Well, I tell you what, he's got the stories as well. I did a Q&A with him one day, and he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Entertainment, personified he is,
yeah, he's valued.
On and off the pitch.
Yeah.
You joined Southampton.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Not a clever move, Mick. Not a clever move. What happened?
Shall we leave it at that?
No, I got manager of the month on the Saturday, and Milan wanted to get rid of Jim Smith. Jim was my man. Jim, Jim would not be a great signing for me. I took him to Portsmouth. I took over at Portsmouth. My first phone call was to Jim. Jim, would you come to Portsmouth with me? I know you've been a manager, and I'm almost embarrassed asking you to be my assistant, but you're not doing it. I didn't know whether you'd fancy it. Come and work with me, I said to him. He said, Harry, I'd love that. He said, I love my time at Port. I'll come, of course I will. And so that was it. And the crowd used to sing Harry and Jim, all through the game, Harry and Jim. Milan, for whatever reason, he decided he wanted to bring a foreign coach in. We were going great. We're flying. We're top half of the Premier now. And he wanted to, so that was it. I had a big bust up about that, and we had an argument, and I walked out.
Can I just ask, well, so you finished on that. Isn't it strange how when some chairman, the thing's going good, but they want to tinker with it?
Yeah.
Is it?
They listen to people they shouldn't be listening to.
So it's going well, and then they come to you and say, I think, maybe you should do this. I wonder why.
I know.
Is it so if you do get promoted or you do win something that they kind of had some sort of assistance in doing it rather than backing you,
of course,
supporting you, giving the money to buy the players that you want. They just want to have that little insight.
I'm not sure it's always them. I think it's just the noise around them and people telling them stuff.
But no, I just had this thing with Jim. I don't know. It was like, so anyway, that was it really. We had a bust up and I walked out. And within 5 days, I got a phone call. Dennis Roach rang me, the football Roach. He was a very famous football agent. He said, Rupert Lowe wants to meet you, wants you to go at Southampton. And I took it. I went in and suddenly, oh my God, it was scary. The abuse.
You were an experienced manager as well when you took Jim, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yourself, you've got plenty of experience. Just on that, do you think there's room for that? By the way, I'm not touting for a job, and I'm not touting any of us for jobs. I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. Is there scope, room, do you think, for experienced managers?
Absolutely.
Not even full time, but just to be there, games, couple of days a week, just to assist in the management of things, not the coaching.
Yeah, I went to Derby, and Mel Morris rang me, and he just gave the job to Darren Wassell. And he said, would you come in a couple of days? He had a house near us where we live, Mel, and I met him a couple of times in the coffee shop there when he was down weekends or would come. Would you come in a couple of days a week, Harry, and come to the... I said, yeah, I'd love that. I'll come in a couple of days a week and come to the games on Saturday with you. And I went and and I remember the first week I was there, in fact, and we finished training and he'd done a little bit of, picked the team down, he'd done a little bit of shape or whatever, and the chairman was there watching with the bank manager and another friend on the touchline. Then we get back to the ground, we got a phone call from the chief executive. He rang Darren, he said, and Darren Wassell said to me, I've got a problem. The chief executive said, the chairman's not happy. He looks like you're going to play, I forget who it was, he playing someone at right back and he wanted somebody else. Why isn't he playing? The chairman wants him playing. Darren Wassell said, what do I do? I said, well, you picked your team. How can you change it? The players have seen you pick the team. You can't then go tomorrow and put someone else. You've got to go with... Yeah. I genuinely think he was felt under that much pressure. He might have, but,
I had my first year in the Premiership. Before we go, leading up to that, the first thing I did was go and meet Jerry Francis twice to convince him to come in 3 days a week. Jerry wouldn't come in full time, but he came in 3 days a week. And he was absolutely priceless. He'd managed at the top level. I'd never managed at the top level. And Jerry was priceless. Brilliant. And I had him all the way through. And he would come in on a Monday or a Tuesday. And then a Thursday, and then obviously do the game.
Yeah.
And priceless for two reasons, Mick. He would give you a little bit of information if he felt it was needed, but he'd also talk to the directors and talk to people because he'd be up there when the games were going on. And he was absolutely fantastic at doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And very knowledgeable.
Of course, yeah.
Very
It's
knowledgeable.
interesting that with Derby, you're saying maybe he gave Darren the job so he could influence him, so he could get his own players in. We played against Derby, and Darren he'd got into the manager, and they were leaving 3 up from corners. It's something I hadn't really seen because he came out of the youth team, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I said to our lads, we got Murphy and big lads and Berra, some real good headers. That I said, stick it in the box. It was like there was nobody in the box, and we were 3-1 up at half time.
Yeah.
And that's when they employed Steve McLaren. He'd been watching it upstairs, watched the first half, seeing what's happening. He comes downstairs at half time, goes mental apparently, sorts it all out. We're 3-3, and we're hanging on by the skin of our teeth at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it was just that experience that, completely different to somebody coming out of youth setup to manage a
big difference,
first team.
Mick, massive.
The Managers with Mick and Tony is powered by BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. And why is BOYLE Sports the home of the early payout? I hear you ask. Well, with BOYLE Sports, if the team you back goes 2 goals up, you win, job done, you're getting paid out. Singles, ACCAs, bet builders, it's all covered. And this means we need to reconsider a crucial game in your career, Tony. I'm talking, of course, about the 1999 playoff final when your Gillingham team were 2 goals up with 5 minutes to play. Obviously, that means, in the eyes of BOYLE Sports, you have now won the Second Division playoff final, 1999. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And also, West Ham won the 2006 FA Cup final, which is great. And commiserations to Liverpool for not winning the 2005 Champions League. And obviously, now Gillingham have won the 1999 Second Division playoff final. Commiserations to Nicky Weaver and Manchester City. Yes, get paid out as a winner if your team goes 2 goals ahead, even if they win, lose or draw. 90 minutes only, applies to singles and multiples. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Back yourself with BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. Head to boylesports.com or download the app to find out more.
Go back to Southampton, Mick, just to finish with them, it was interesting time because Rupert Lowe was the chairman and Rupert was quite hands-on, I remember him saying to me one day, Harry, them bloody corners are diabolical. I'll come and show you how to take a corner. I said, what do you know? I said, you played hockey, didn't you? How would you know? You probably can't even kick a ball, Rupert.
But you had an interesting director of football there, H, that you've not mentioned.
Well, obviously, it was, whoever thought you could, bring a rugby man into...
Clive Woodward.
Clive Woodward came in and we were like the odd couple, really, in that he shared an office with me. It was very strange times. But then the funniest thing was I get a phone call. Chris Kamara rings me. Harry said, all the lads are lumped on Neil Warnock. He's got the Portsmouth job. He said, he's going to Pompey. He said, all the lads are on him. Ali McCoy, everyone's on. I couldn't tell him that I'd met Milan that night and I was going to Portsmouth, right? Warnock, he shook hands with Warnock actually on the job. And then I came out, Frank Lampard Sr. had gone to watch Chelsea play Portsmouth on a Saturday afternoon. And I think Portsmouth got beat 4-0. And he spoke to Frank after and he said, we're going to get relegated. And Frank said, why don't you get Harry back? He said, he won't come back now. And Frank said, why don't you ask him? He said, would you ask? Frank rang me. He said, would you go back? I said, yeah. And that was it. So Warnock, suddenly I met him that night at his house, drove over to meet him. He got the old red wine out. We ended up making up. We hadn't spoke for quite a while. And I went back there, yeah. So unfortunately, the boys all lost their money. Those that had bet Warnock, I ended up back at...
the thing I'll mention there as well, people who are not from the South Coast don't realise the animosity between Portsmouth and Southampton, do they, H?
Oh, my God, it was unbelievable. It was. My first day at Southampton's training ground, I turn up and there's a little T-junction. As I pull up, there's about 6 blokes. Them Pompey fans, they're quite unique. They're not, they're quite tough, aren't they? Yeah, and they're digging the road and they're all Pompey boys. And they've wrote Judas, right? It's all there. They're giving me grief, and I've got every morning I turn up there, they're waiting for me. Oh, my God. One morning they'd finished, I thought, thank God, you know.
They actually weren't doing a job, you know. They were just waiting for you every morning.
Oh, don't.
Go on, tell us about the clip that went viral at Portsmouth, though.
Well, it was one of the. I was doing an interview and I'm chatting away about the game tomorrow. I'm going, yeah, it should be a good game. Looking forward to it. We're playing well at the moment. Suddenly, bang, a ball hits me on the back of the head. Now I'm doing the interview, so I look round it. Did you kick that? Did you? Right, fuck, F it. Did you kick? I go back and start doing the interview again. Yeah, we're playing well at them. You know, I carried it on as though nothing's happened, right? But it's in my head, isn't it? And I've turned around again. No wonder you're in the fucking reserves. Gone back and finished the interview, chatting away again. It was so stupid.
You
really.
tried your best to style it out, but couldn't, you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd have had to give him stick.
But,
we've discussed Clive Woodward. It's funny when you mention it, though. So, who on earth thought it would be a good idea to employ somebody from rugby to come in and run a football club? Because you imagine if the rugby team came to you and said, Harry, you're out of work, mate. Yeah. Come and run this rugby team.
I know. I wouldn't have a clue, would you?
No. And you'd go nowhere near it.
I wouldn't do it. I mean,
not a chance.
No, you wouldn't. But I'd spin it the other way and say that if he came in and sat down with Harry and had 20 minutes and said, listen, this is completely new to me. You know, I'm going to have to sit with you and look and see how it works and this, that and the other. I'm not going to cut across anything. If you need anything from me, on the training ground or what we did that you're not doing or whatever, I can add to it on the the medical side of it or whatever. Then brilliant.
Yeah.
But I'm in there with you.
Did it happen that? Did you have that conversation
with him?
I've
got to be honest, Mick. I got on well with him. And obviously I respected him. He was a great rugby coach, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Football was never. I could never. It was always going to be difficult with the players as well, and it's
like Tony says, if he's coming in to oversee and have a look at how the physio department's going, the running of the club's going, but not dealing with the football, but dealing over and above that, then yes, I can see that because I'm not knocking the rugby. I mean, they're magnificent.
Absolutely, and he was a great rugby coach as well.
Absolutely, he was. Yeah. After Southampton, he rejoined Portsmouth.
Back to Pompey.
You couldn't get away from it.
Bottom of the league.
Was it those 6 guys who were digging the hole that got you back?
Yeah, they got me back. They bottom of the. I went back
and we won the FA Cup.
Bottom of the league when I went back, and we were in desperate straits. And the fans, my first time there, Mick, the fans were incredible. I never had one bad minute. They just, without blaming, they loved me there. And I've walked there. Suddenly I've gone to Southampton on the back of having a row in Milan. Now I've gone back. Now I'm under severe pressure. They have got the raving up with me. I've left. Now I've come back. We go to Villa and get first game Birmingham away, get beat 5 at Birmingham. There's 4 teams cut adrift. There's 3 of us, and in Birmingham are now 6 points. They beat us 5 at Birmingham. Brucey was the manager. They had a real good team. Esky was up front with Sutton.
Yeah.
Stan Lazaridis, Matthew Upson.
Yeah.
Anyway, they beat us. They go 6 points clear of us with a game in hand. So now there's 3 of us adrift, and then it's a 6-point gap to Birmingham. And they've just beat us 5. And you looked at their team, thought, well, we went on a run. I went and took 3 players from Tottenham, went to sign Darren Anderton from Tottenham. He'd been at Portsmouth. Get there. Impossible. Darren had a deal in his contract. No one could earn more than him. So when they signed Klinsmann on it, his wages went up about 50 grand a week. So that was out the window. So we get there, and Daniel done a special buy one, get one free for 2 deal. And I took Noe Pamaro, Pedro Mendes and Sean Davis, all good players.
Yeah.
They came in, but they all played in the first game at Birmingham, right? I've signed them when we got beat 5. They all got cramped where they weren't fit, hadn't been playing.
Yeah.
No, we don't play reserve games, Mick, do they?
No.
All 3 of them went down with cramp after about 60 minutes, I thought, well, we've had it. We've got no chance. And I took a little genius from Argentina called D'Alessandro. I had him at West Ham for a week. Chairman wouldn't buy him because we had Joe coming through, but he was and I ended up getting him on loan, and he came in, and off we went. We went on a run last 10 games, and we stayed up. We had to win at Wigan to stay up, and went to Wigan and won, and managed to stay in the league. So
isn't it funny how one signing can spark all the others off. I know the others that have come in and got fit. Maybe played them in a reserve game. They're all getting fitter. But one player can come in and transform everybody else. Because others go, wow, have a look at him.
Mick, I brought him in, and it was we were playing Bolton at home on the Tuesday night, and he came in on the Monday morning, or the Wednesday night, when Monday morning he walked in, I bring him out on the training ground. But the Portsmouth pitch was cutting up, ankle deep mud. It was ploughed like a ploughed field. And he comes out, his little skinny legs, and he's got his socks around his ankles. And I said to Joe, I'm going to play this kid on Joe Jordan. He said to me, you can't play him? How can you play him? I said, he can play, Joe. I'm telling you, he's a fantastic player. Playing Bolton, Harry, you get on that pitch. And anyway, I played him. We drew. It was only a point, but we drew. And he was the best player on the pitch. He got a stand ovation, and off we went. And he scored goals, made goals. He was fantastic.
What was the supporters like when you stayed up? Did it change?
Oh, everything. As we went on a run, Tone, as we started to win, first game, we go to Birmingham, then we go to Villa and get beat at Villa, and then now they've
on
got
top of
a
you.
couple of placards up behind the goal. You know, they want me. I've only just gone back there. And then this club had got sold. Milan had sold the club to Redknapp, the Russian.
Yes.
He pulled me in. I've only been back 2 weeks. And he said to me, tell me, Mr. Redknapp, why don't the players try? I said, they are trying. They're just no good. Right? I took over this group of players. All my good players, when I left, they got rid of them all. But all these foreign players in there were absolutely shocking. Yeah. And that was what I was. And I said, they're no good. Yeah, they're trying. They're no good. And at that time, I was on my way out again. I'd only been back there 2 weeks. He'd bought the club. I think he was looking to bring John Gregory in. And that was what I'd heard, that John was going to come in. But I'd go and win the next game, and then off we go on a run and stayed up. And
I'm sure you know, Harry, you were the last English manager to win a trophy.
Yeah.
Until Eddie Howe won the League Cup this year.
Yeah, FA Cup.
That is incredible.
Yeah, that was a great day, Mick, to go to Wembley and win the FA Cup. You know, but we were, it worked out night. We went to Old Trafford and won, which was the key for us in the quarterfinals.
Yes,
Alex was on for the treble again.
Yeah.
And that was a bad day for them, obviously, but a great day for us. And then the cup worked out. Barnsley beat Chelsea in the quarterfinals at Barnsley. I'm looking at the cup. I'm thinking Barnsley, Chelsea, somebody else got beat. Suddenly, all the Premier League's got beat, and end up with 3 championship teams in the semis with Portsmouth.
Yeah,
and so we beat West Brom and then played Cardiff in the final.
Don't matter who you play, does it? You've got to win.
But Man United was the key. Going to Old Trafford and winning was...
I've got one of my... He was a coach at Ipswich, Nash. He's down at Cork in the bottom of the league, but he's just won and got him into the final of the Cup in Ireland. And I sent him a message this morning. I said, you've got to win it now.
Yeah.
Because getting there, I know I've been there to playoffs and all that.
Of course.
It's great when you get there, but you forget, they're gone, aren't you? You don't win them.
Got to win it, yeah.
You've got to win it. So that was my message to him this morning.
Yeah.
But anyway, in October 2008, you joined Spurs.
Yeah.
Who were bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Which you know what? It's 2008. It's not that long ago. I can't remember Spurs being bottom of the league.
Yeah, 8 games.
I can.
I turned the job down, Mick, 15 months earlier.
Yeah.
I'd gone up to meet Daniel. I had 2 nights at his house. Martin Yole, I know with this, and he wanted to see me. Martin Yole was a manager. And I swear my words to him was, I don't think it would be a popular appointment anyway. I said, why? They were 4th in the league at that time. I said, why do you want to get rid of the manager? He said, we want to change. I said, I don't think it's the right time for me, Daniel. Things are going well for me at Portsmouth. I'm happy there. Let's see how it goes. If you have a bad run and it changes, then, so I didn't do it. But then 15 months, whatever later, we played at Braga in the Cup Winners' Cup. And I'm on the coach coming away from sitting next to Milan, funny enough, and Daniel rings me. And I met him that night, and then he said to me, I need you in for Sunday. We got Bolton at home on Sunday. We had 2 points from the first 8 games. I said, I can't come Sunday. I can't do it. I can't be there. Why? I said, I'm getting the freedom of the city of Portsmouth on Monday. Mick, right? You can't make it up, can you? Monday morning, I'm getting the freedom of the city of Portsmouth. And Sunday, I'm supposed to be leaving, going to Tottenham. So I'll meet, this is Saturday, I'm meeting him. I said, I can't, Daniel, I can't. I've got to go to the town hall. It's a big deal. The dignitaries are there, trumpeters and the Lord Mayor, and I'm getting the freedom of Portsmouth. How can I? He said, well, I need you, Harry. In the end, I done it. I took it, right? Monday, I go back to, we won 2-0, get our first, Gary Megson was a manager. But we win 2-0. And now Monday, I've got to go back to the town hall to Portsmouth. My God. I drove there because the player, they brought all the players to come and just to see it all. They've all got the hump with me for walking out. Half of them are blanking me. I've walked out. In the gallery, there's about 20 Pompey fans calling me Judas, all shouting at me. And I'm stood there, oh my God. I said my timing never has been very good, our sons. Anyway, I got out the back door, gone. Got the freedom of the city and disappeared. But
that's amazing. I'm surprised they didn't cancel it, Harry. When
I told them, I said, I can't come. They said, we can't cancel it. I said, I don't want to come, please. I can't come. I can't do it. I'm going to get grief, And they carried on regardless, and that was it.
Fair play. And then come within a penalty shootout of winning the League Cup in your first season. Yeah. Spurs lost on penalties.
We lost. Yeah, we all missed.
To United.
Yeah, we did. We outplayed them that day as well and went to penalties, and everybody missed.
I'm assuming that's Manchester United.
Yeah.
Because all the United fans who I ever meet, they say to me, I said, who do you support? They said, United.
Yeah.
Hartlepool? Cambridge?
Yeah.
Sheffield?
No,
Manchester. I know full well who it is, but
of course, yeah.
So when they asked me, I say United. And they go, really? I said, yeah, Leeds United.
Yeah.
That's what I suppose. Again, you transformed their fortunes. Lead Spurs into the Champions League. How did you feel about David Bentley chucking a bucket of water over your head in the celebrations at Manchester City?
Yeah, well, we won at Man City. We had to win there. It was a winner take all because we were level with them. They had better goal difference. They only needed a draw, and we needed a win. It was the end of the season, and Crouchy scored, and we won 1-0. Played ever so well that night, really, and. Then after the game, David Bentley and a couple of lads it was all those that didn't play. Funny enough, come and tipped the ice bucket over my head. I had a nice club suit on that Daniel would probably paid about £40 for from Army and Navy stores or somewhere. So, that was it. Then was Champions League, which was a dream, really, to have that music and to be going to Milan. And we had a great run, Mick. We did ever so well. We sort of, we played Milan twice, AC Milan, Inter Milan.
Over the years that I've been in football, and I didn't see the 60s, 61 team, the push and run team, I think that's the best Tottenham team.
Well, it's good, Gareth Bale.
I can't think of a better Tottenham team.
Luka Modric, Rafa van der Vaart, Ledley King was an amazing player. Ledley without them injuries would have, what a player Ledley was.
Amazing, wasn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was a real good team.
That's the best Tottenham team.
So he says, while at Spurs, you're bringing it. Just look at the questions. Jermaine Defoe, Robbie Keane. Well, I spoke about Robbie. He's a fabulous player. Darren Bent, Peter Crouch.
Crouchy.
You didn't want to sign the basketball player again.
I know,
so
Crouchy. I had Crouchy at Southampton, Portsmouth. Now I've got him at Tottenham.
Who was it the chairman said that? He didn't want to decide.
Milan.
Milan,
he didn't want to. He's a basketball. You think I'm paying £1 million for a basketball player? But no, they were great times. I had a great time there, really. And even the last year, we finished fourth. Should have finished third. I'll be honest. We went on a horrendous run quite late in the season. We were well clear of Arsenal. They'd done us in the last game of the season on goal difference. So finished fourth, and then I get a phone call. Daniel wants to see me. At Christmas, we had a function at Christmas at the Dorchester Hotel in London, a private room, directors, me, Joe Jordan, Kevin, Clive Allen were there, and Joe, we came out, and Joe Jordan said to me, people say Daniel don't show any feelings towards anybody. So I've never heard anybody speak and show so much feelings towards someone as he did you there, Harry. You know, what you'd done, how he... a couple of months later, I got the sack. It was unbelievable, really.
Can I just, when you said you went on the bad run and you should have it. Looking back on it, can you even imagine why it happened? And I'll explain it's an obvious question, but I experienced it myself when we won the league at Wolves. I didn't win a game for 13 games.
Yeah.
We'd had a great start.
Yeah.
I could not get my head round.
No.
And we did everything. Yeah. Tried everything. Changed the coaching, changed the management.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah. Went out, didn't go out. Had a drink, didn't have a drink. Yeah. Trained harder, trained less.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you now, because I could not work out and still can't work out how, for a team that won the league with 90-odd points, we didn't win for 13
Amazing
games.
How it goes, isn't it? And you try everything, didn't you? You try every move you can to get it right. You come in training different time, take them out a day out, have a day at races, go to Chelsea, whatever. I mean, you try everything, didn't you?
Well, I'm glad it's affected you, somebody who's been as successful as you, because I could not get my head around it.
You need that bit of luck, Tony, to get out of it.
Yeah, but then say last game of the season when the season finished, and then that was it. I was going to see Daniel to talk about, I had a year left on my contract. I thought he was going to talk about a new contract, and I walked out there with no job, I was very shocked. I never entered my mind that I was going to see about, because, we'd finished in the Champions League place.
Yes.
But the worst thing I did, Mick, we'd finished fourth. Chelsea get to the Champions League final. They finished sixth, right? We're in the Champions League. The only way we don't go in now is Chelsea win the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Jamie's going to the Champions League final, working for Sky. So he says to me, Graham Souness's mate's got a private plane from Bournemouth Airport. We're going to go over there, play golf, go stay in the hotel, go out for dinner, go to the game next day, win a box. Why don't you come? No, I don't. Come, it'd be great. I thought, I can't really see Chelsea beating Bayern Munich in Munich, Bayern Munich so I go to the game. Bayern Munich slaughtered them, right? They missed a penalty, and it goes to penalties, and Chelsea win. At the end of the game, I've got to walk round I come down. They kept the Chelsea fans in, all behind one goal. We've got to walk past them. As I'm walking past them, they're all singing Thursday night, Channel 5, Thursday, because they used to show the youth, right? Thursday night, Channel 5. Oh, my God, that was a bad day. And that was it. I come back home and then, bosh, gone,
The away fans, you don't want to be walking past opposition fans.
No.
When you don't want to be seen, you don't want to be anywhere near them.
No, it was a bad night.
They can be very caustic, but they've got great humour as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
While you're at Spurs, you seem to be the nation's choice for England manager.
Yeah.
Roy Hodgson got the job. I mean, Roy was ultimately very capable for the job, and we know that. Did you think you might get it?
I was 10 to 1 on to get it in betting terms. 10 to 1 on. It looked nailed on. I remember speaking to Richard Bevan and people like that.
I
he said, you've got the job, Yeah. But suddenly I got 2 jobs. Am I going to start at Tottenham or go and manage England? 3 months later, I ain't got any job. I mean, amazing how it works out, isn't it? But
how disappointed was you, H?
I would love to have done it, Tom, but I also had a great job at Tottenham. I had a good team,
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was, I knew what come with the England job, that it's non-stop scrutiny, and every day, Look at all the great people we've seen.
I know.
Even Bobby, people forget Bobby Robson got almighty grief.
Oh, got hammered.
Graham Taylor, look what he had to put up with. And everybody had it, didn't they, really, at some stage? And you're going to get that job, and it's always going to happen.
There's successful, thriving managers who's done well for the clubs, through different clubs, and then suddenly become a plum if they don't win.
Of course
anything.
They do.
And they get terrible abuse as well.
Terrible abuse, yeah.
Right, Tom, predictions time. 16-13, although I have a game in hand, of course, which I know you're contesting, but...
that's going to the High Court, Mick.
I think we've had the High Court. Nick's just passed it, thank you. Anyway, last week, perfect 4 from 4. I did say it was a slightly easier picking than the international teams. The leagues seem to be harder. Anyway, it's your go, mate. Fire away.
Yeah, well, I'll start off with the two relegated teams. I fancy the two relegated teams in the Championship, Southampton and Leicester. Southampton are at home to Swansea. It's an early kick-off. So, sometimes I think that favours the home team. But I think both Southampton and Leicester now have realised and recognised what the Championship is about after the games they've played. And I see the two of them now pushing on. So I'm going Southampton to beat Swansea. And I'm also going Leicester to beat my old club, Pompey. They had a fantastic result the other day, Pompey, by beating Middlesbrough. They'll be full of beans, but I just think, again, and it's a late kick-off as well, I just think Leicester at home are going to be very, very difficult to get any points there, Mick.
Yeah.
So those two are sorted out in the Championship. And then I'll drop down and I'm going for Cardiff to beat Reading. Cardiff are in the top half of the table. Reading are in the bottom three. It's a tough place to go to. I think Cardiff have got a squad, the best squad in the league, or one of the best squads in the league. And I hope so for the Welsh side of me. That Cardiff do get the points. And the last one is Stockport. I fancy Stockport at the beginning of the season. I thought they'd have a really, really strong run at it. They've had a good start. Again, they're up the top of the table and they play Exeter. Exeter, I think they've lost 7 games already. So it's a difficult place to go. And I think it'll be tough for Exeter. So those 4 results: Southampton to win, Leicester to win, Stockport to win, Cardiff to win. £10 returns £66.89p, including your hacker boost.
Right, mate. Well, I can't contest any of those or argue any of those. So I've got my predictions are Stoke, who are playing Wrexham. Stoke 5th in the league. Wrexham new into the league. I think they've started all right. I think when you come back, Stoke just seem to have a better. They're drawn last 2 away were to Blackburn and Borough. I fancy Stoke when they come back. They're a strong side. Wrexham drawn the last 3. They've conceded 15 goals. Sometimes you can start well in the league and then it does start to get a bit of a chore on you because you've gone up a league. I fancy Stoke, and as you know, Stoke at home are a pretty tough team to pick. I seem to remember that anyway. Coventry to beat Blackburn. Coventry are just flying. They are absolutely flying. Frank's got them going. 1-3, drawn 3 out of the last 6 games. I just can't see any other result in that one. And Coventry, by the way, scored 9 goals in 2 away games at Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall in the last 3 games. There's some results, especially in the Championship. Blackpool, I'm trying to work out whatever my reason is for doing this, but I'm going new manager syndrome, Tom.
Yes, yeah.
I was up at Blackpool and it's a great support. If they get behind them, they really do get the crowd going. I'm hoping that they got a new manager in place. I'm hoping that he's going to have a reaction, or the team's going to have a reaction, and they can beat Wycombe, who, to be fair, are down near the bottom of the league as well, just above them. And I think if Blackpool have got any chance of getting out of that bottom 3, they're going to have to start beating the teams around them, and Wycombe are one of those. Walsall to beat Barrow. I think fair old trip down from Barrow. Walsall again, they're top, they're flying. They've had 7 out of 10 wins, Walsall. So Barrow 18th, scored 9 against 12. I can't see Walsall losing that one, but that I'm saying I can't see them losing it. I've said that a few times already, and. One other, no, that's my choices, Tom. And £10. I've just dropped it on the floor. £10. Oh mate, this is a shambles now. I've just dropped all my notes. There are my
Yeah,
scores.
this is good television, mate. Don't worry about that.
I know.
It shows we're human.
I think Nick's going to have to tell me we're going to have to do this again. Anyway, £10 returns. Hey, by the way, it tells you how I've picked some tough games here. £10 returns, £135.45p, including the ACCA boost from BOYLE Sports. Right, H, thanks for coming in. Been
Pleasure,
great.
Mick. Good talking to you and Tony.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
brilliant.
One more, last one. Do you miss management?
Sometimes, but listen, there's no pressure, Mick. I go and play golf with Tony and give him free golf balls every day. But I go racing. Racing's my big passion. I've got a lot of horses and got a big season to look forward to. So I've got so much my life is busy as I want it to be, Mick. And I don't know now, it's all changed and it's very different to when we managed, where you were the manager, you pick the players, you sign the players, you run the football club basically. Now I think you have very little say in what goes on. You're just giving the players and you get on with it and you're just coaching them really. So I don't miss it that much, no.
Well, Ali, you were brilliant, had a great career and we all enjoyed it and we've enjoyed you today, mate.
Good talking to you, lads.
Yeah, fantastic.
Pleasure.